Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pestforce Discovery Day Live. It's Paul Smith here on Tuesday, the 12th of July, 2016, starting at 7 p.m. as promised. And as promised on the first slide, I am not here to give you any sales bullshit. I am just here to give you some information to see if you are ready to take the next step in joining the Pestforce franchise. That doesn't mean I don't want you to join us, and of course I'd be delighted if that were the case. But what we're here to do today is to help you decide if this is for you and something you want to find a little bit more information about. That's me there, and it must have been a particularly good day because I look like I've got a bit of a tan. It doesn't happen very often because Gail doesn't let me out of the office very often. Gail is here, and if I get any particularly tricky questions, then I'll be handing over to Gail to answer them. So, ground rules, I'm here to provide you with more information about the Pestforce opportunity and to help you to understand a bit more about the business, how it works, and to help you do your due diligence. I'm not here to make it sound better than it is. It is a business after all, so it is bloody hard work, but it is a rewarding and very potentially profitable opportunity if you get it right. I said I'm not here to sell, but if you do join us, obviously that would be great. And this is all about a relationship. We are here to help, here to support, and here to manage and help your growth. But we won't do it all for you. You have to put in a whole heap of hard work into the business, because otherwise it's not just going to happen. And you decide at the end of this webinar, you decide whether you want any more information or not, whether you want to go to the next step and talk to Gail about coming in to see us. And at that point, we'll also be deciding about you. So this is a two-way street, and part of that is us assessing if we think you're going to make a good pest control franchisee. I'll whiz through this one because this is pretty similar to what I've just told you, but at the end of the 45 minutes to an hour that we're going to have this evening, you should much better understand what the business is about, what it could be like to be a Pestforce franchisee, how you build your business, and that's an important part of what you need to get into your head. It's not just about us spoon feeding you jobs and opportunities, although we will do our very best to make that happen. It's a business that needs to be built like any other business, so you're not necessarily buying a job. We'll have a quick look at the high-level financials. They're very high level at this point, and I will give you a couple of examples of recent joiners into the franchise. You'll get an idea of how we support your business, and that all should hopefully give you an idea of whether this could be for you. And if it is for you, what you need to do. So what are we going to do in the next 45 minutes or so? We're going to talk about the steps, who and what we are, being the franchisee, building that business, and how we help in that with training and support. If you've got any questions, please type away. I'll try and answer them at the end if we've got time, but I'll try not to hold you up if we get too many questions. I'll get Gail to send answers out to the whole list. There you go. We've got a process to bring you into the business if at some point later on you decide it is right for you. We've gone past the kind of initial inquiry. I'm assuming most of you have downloaded the information pack because Gail's been able to reach out to you by email and invite you to this webinar. Once you've decided you want to come and meet us, then we will ask you to fill in a very short questionnaire just to give us an idea of who we're going to meet, what your aspirations are, what your background is, usual things. It's not an interview, but it is definitely a good discussion to really understand your motivations, understand what you're trying to get out of it, because only by knowing that can we let you know if the opportunity might deliver what you are looking for. So you'll come and see me and Gail in a one-to-one or in a larger discovery meeting, depending on how we've set it up. And that will typically last 2 hours. You'll get all the opportunities to understand the business in even more detail than tonight, and ask as many questions as you can think of. We'll also be asking you lots of questions, so come prepared to that meeting for it to be a two-way street. We always expect people to speak to existing franchisees. Please don't do that outside of the process, because although we're not telling franchisees what to tell you, they're obviously very busy people, and what we try and do is set aside some time in their diary when they're not on jobs for us to be able to get you in their diary to talk to. So got no problem with you talking to anybody in the network, but please do it in a structured fashion. If we're still talking about you joining, we have what's called a letter of intent, which kind of formalizes everything that is going to happen beyond that point. And then we get serious. We take a deposit from you to start getting everything drawn together. That deposit is refundable if you decide that before training that it's not for you, because you've had a look at the franchise agreement and you don't think you can live with it. That's absolutely fine, and we will refund your deposit at that point. But once we've signed the franchise agreement and you're into training, then you've joined the Pestforce family, and we'll be working with you to help you make a great success of your franchise. So there we go, very early days, and the process really is just starting for most of you. So who are we and what do we do? Well, we are 8 years as a franchise, and we started back in 2008, 2009, one man, and have grown significantly since then. Pestforce became part of the EcoClean Services, the ESL group, back in 2014, with the idea of working more closely with our cleaning franchise business, and that's just starting to take off a little bit now. It's been a bit slower than we hoped for, but there is some integration happening. We've got 68 franchisees and continue to grow, and that means obviously that some of the areas that you may be sitting in right now may not be available, so it'd be worth checking. There is a form on the website that will get through to one of the guys to let you know if your area is available, or just give Gail a call and ask her. I'm sitting in the head office at Henley-on-Thames, and normally I'd be surrounded by the support team that would be supporting all our franchisees, but at this time of night they've all disappeared off to their families. We do let them out of the office once in a while, but we've got finance support to help you manage the finances of your business in terms of collecting cash, billing, etc. We've got graphics and media support to help with website management, with Google ad management and the like. Obviously we've got Gail, who will be managing your recruitment, if you like, to sort of bring it into that term, induction and training. And then also Gail's got a team that will help you with all of your inquiries and your support during the first sort of early days of your franchise, and then through the term of your franchise, you'll be looked after by our franchise manager in the head office. And of course, you can always get hold of me or Phil Shaw, who's our technical support guy, who's been in the pest control industry for about 37 years, I think. So he's very knowledgeable and loves to impart that knowledge to help people deliver jobs and growth. We are British Franchise Association accredited. We took that step in 2015, and what that really does for you is it gives you a bit of comfort that we're not a fly-by-night franchisor. We do have ethics and values, and we do manage people through relationships. We don't manage through the contract until it goes wrong, and then regrettably sometimes you have to revert to what's written on paper. But our aim is always to avoid that by working with our franchisees to resolve any issues that we may have. We do get assessed by the British Franchise Association. They do approve our franchise agreement. So if and when you get to that point, although we would urge you to get independent legal advice, then certainly you can again take some comfort from the fact that the British Franchise Association has seen that and approved that franchise agreement. Oops, bit finger happy there. The British Franchise Association, if you haven't seen their website, I think it's bfa.org, has got an excellent suite of advice for potential franchisees. We also shop around for other franchises if ours isn't the franchise for you, but do take some time to have a look at it. There's other things that you might find useful. So if and when you get to see a franchise agreement and you want to find a franchise knowledgeable solicitor to check it out, then there is a list of BFA approved associates. They're nothing to do with us, and it's not a kind of closed shop, but it's just a good source of solicitors, for example, who understand franchising and know what they're talking about when they're checking agreements out. There's also a section on there with, I think it's 50 questions to ask about your franchise. Delighted to discuss those with anybody who wants to come along and have a chat. Not all the 50 are relevant, so don't just give me a list of 50 and expect me to answer them. Do a little bit of pruning so that the ones about where I'm going to open your shop don't come out, because we'll be wasting everybody's time. But that is a great source of advice, and you should really check it out if you haven't already. So I've covered a little bit of that. The reason we were 73 franchisees and we're now 68 franchisees is that in 2014, when we invested in the group and brought it into the EcoClean group, there were some things that needed to change. So we set out on a journey, literally and metaphorically, with the franchisees. Went to visit all the areas of the UK where we had franchisees and discussed their views and visions for the future and our views and visions for the future. And when we sort of mashed those all together and came up with the future path for Pestforce, about a dozen franchisees decided that it wasn't for them, and they were going to go and do something either in pest control for themselves or go and do something completely differently. And we had no problem with that. And we didn't want to be holding people in the franchise who didn't want to be part of it at that point, because it was a big change. So that's the story, if you like, and it's a story that I'm happy to tell and discuss in more detail if anybody wants to have a chat. A little bit of research on the pest control industry, and no doubt some of you out there have done your own research, but it is a big industry, the pest control sector in the UK. I would imagine probably half of that is Rentokil on its own, but 370 million and growing, and growing by 6% a year. So that's another 20 or so, 25 million per annum going into the industry. Good for us that a lot of councils don't currently have in-house services, and those that do, only a small percentage of them offer free treatments. So that's 7% of a third. So that's what, 2%, something like that. 2.5% of all councils out there offer any free treatments. We still get the phone calls. Yeah, I live in a council house. Can you come out for free? No, sorry, it doesn't work like that. We will come out before the council, though. Typically, although the council can be cheaper than a commercial pest control business like ours, often it's weeks before they can come out and do any treatment. So that's a great thing for us to trade on. And this was interesting. It was one of the things that was brought up in the IBIS World report that I referenced at the top there. One of the factors that they attribute the increase in pest control incidents and call outs is to changes our behavior. We've all seen the fortnightly bin collections issue with councils. I know here in Henley, we get our sort of waste bins collected every fortnight, and our recycling bins also every fortnight. So there's a lot more rubbish, and if you go around your local parade of shops, you'll probably see the Euro bins overflowing because Grundon or Biffa haven't been to collect them. That's a great source of food for rodents, and a great opportunity for us. And then the increased use of second-hand furniture since the downturn in 2008, the recession hit. A lot of people are using second-hand furniture, and a lot of that second-hand furniture has got little critters inside it that have come free as a free added extra, bed bugs, fleas, and that kind of thing. So again, great opportunities for the pest control industry through changes in behaviour, and that will probably continue for a while, as I don't see any change in the sort of macroeconomic picture in the UK. It will still be in a threat of recession for a little while. So although perhaps the German cockroaches can go home as part of Brexit, I see everything else staying and continuing to be a problem for the public at large. Okay, 30% of our franchisees are doing very well, which is great for us, and they do that through typically a mixture of contract work, which is monthly or a set number of visits per annum, typically 8 or 12, and job work, the sort of one-off reactive job work where Mrs. Brown down the high street's got a problem with mice. So you go and do a one-off job for her. Hopefully she'll then recommend you on Facebook, although some people are a little bit reticent to say they've had the pest controllers in. But great ways to turn her problems into a referral for you as part of your sales growth opportunities. And contracts will bring job work with them. So if you've got a contract at the local school, for example, for rats and mice, then good chance that this time of year there might be a wasp nest in the school, and obviously they want to get that treated pretty quickly. So who are they going to call? They're going to call the guy who's got the contract, and you get to charge extra for it. Those are the kind of gross profit figures that we expect, around about that number. But obviously, and I don't talk about net profits as numbers because each franchise is slightly different. It's not like a McDonald's here where we can predict the costs in everybody's business. You know, some guy might spend £200 a month on diesel, and another guy might spend £400 a month on diesel. So that's the kind of thing that is the difference between your gross profit and your net profit. So net profits are generally pretty good, but I don't quote a percentage here, although most of the pest controllers I talk to are making a good living. These are the kind of sales figures we conservatively expect you to reach in year 1 and year 2. So you can see with a gross profit of about 45%, you're going to be in year 1. If you take in 30k, you're going to have about 14 or 15k of gross profit. Now, that's often a problem for some people. Starting a business is you are having to still pay the bills, still pay your mortgage, still buy your wife shoes and all that kind of stuff. Got to make sure that in that first year you've got a little bit of a buffer so that you've got enough to pay your bills, run your business, and not have it as a financial burden around your neck. Because in year 2 and year 3 you're certainly going to start to make significantly more money in your business, but you've got to make sure, and it's not just in a franchise, any business where you're starting a new business, you've got to make sure that you can ride out the first year, which while you're establishing your customer base and establishing your reputation. Now, you know, some guys do better. Some guys really smash it out of the park. We've just had a couple of London franchisees start. One's about 12 months into his business now. He's taken on a technician, and there'll be a bit of a story about him in a second or so. And he's looking at buying a second franchise in London. He's already taken on an employee, so it's going really great for him. We had a guy join a week and a half ago, and he's already taken 4 figures, so over £1,000 in his first week and a half. So that's not everybody doing that, but it just proves that if that there is money out there to be made in this industry. And there are low fixed costs. So typical costs are your van, your fuel, and the products and equipment that you need for delivering the service. The good news is that for your first 3 or 4 months, you probably won't have many of those costs, because you get a great starter pack from us, which should see you certainly through the first 3 or 4 months. So really, your sort of major costs become your van and your fuel. There's another slide here somewhere. There it is. So there is competition, and there is lots of competition out there. I think the last count, there were 19,500 pest controllers known in the UK. This time of year, we often get the guy who'll come and do your wasp nest for £2.50. We're not really, he's down in this one-man band area. Irritating, annoying, but not really the competition for us, if you like. We've got the aspiring smaller businesses, 5 or 10 technicians. But the difference between us and those sort of 5 or 10 technician businesses is that they'll do well in their locality, but they're not going to be able to handle the national jobs. We've got 3 or 4 national contracts which benefit our franchisees. We're looking for more. We're in conversations with 2 or 3 other potential clients at the moment, and to be able to service those national contracts across the UK is a great thing for us, and great for our technicians, because effectively they are getting free money because we're helping by providing those contracts for them. Of course, you've got the big boys. One of the tenders we're in at the moment, we're competing with Rentokil, Ecolab, and Mighty. So there's four of us in the tender, and we're telling our story, and telling a great story about the great service our franchisees offer in a service industry where going that extra mile, that mythical extra mile, which I've heard so much talk about, is a real thing for a franchisee. The sort of 8 o'clock on a Friday evening when everybody else has gone home and packed in, if they want to get somebody from Rentokil out, they've probably got 0 chance. They call a franchisee because his business relies on delivering a great service, delivering a great experience to the customer in a time where they're probably a bit nervous. They've got a pest problem which they want to get rid of very quickly. It might be the wasp nest is about to bugger up their barbecue. They get the franchisee comes out at 8 o'clock, sorts out the wasp nest. The party goes ahead or whatever it is, and it gives you a great opportunity to make a great deal of marketing and referral traffic from doing a great job. So, being a Pestforce franchisee is not rocket science. We are about delivering great customer service. We are, and you are, going to have to plan your own diary. This is very much a business where you can take a morning off to go shooting, or you can finish at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and go fishing, or you can make sure you're finished on school sports day for your kids. Doesn't mean it's a lifestyle business where you can just sort of do 2 or 3 jobs a month and it will work, but it does give you a certain amount of flexibility to plan your own life and be at those important events, because you can move your appointments to work around it. You've got to work hard to market your business. We've got a good website, really works very hard for our franchisees, and we've got great marketing leaflets. We've got the opportunity to get out to other customers. We've got good Google AdWords knowledge, Facebook, all of those things that I know a lot of you will be turned off by that digital, that Facebook, that social media, that Twitter thing, but you cannot ignore it if you're going to market your business in 2016. It is an essential evil to make sure you're getting seen by as many customers as possible. You can't be a curmudgeonly old devil who hates talking and dealing with the public. You've got to be, even if you're feeling a little bit like you don't want to do it, and you've got to fix that smile on your face, bring out that great customer service attitude, and deliver, even with the difficult customers. We all know customers fall into two categories: difficult and bloody difficult. But at the end of the day, they are paying your bills, and you need to do whatever it is you need to do to make your service stand out amongst every other pest control business in the UK. On the plus side, you'll deal with some lovely people, and you'll have some great fun. You'll do some great jobs, and you'll drink endless cups of tea, no doubt, which is what I just paused for a little slurp of there, I'm afraid, and you'll get lots of great thanks for doing a great job, and that really is the kind of thing that makes this job worth doing. There is a lot of legislation, and we have guidelines and processes that you have to follow. So if you're not very good at following the rules, then this probably isn't for you. 2016 has seen increased legislation in our industry, which is finding time to find its place in the world in terms of the management of rodenticides. But it's the kind of thing that we applaud, and we're happy to see coming into the UK, as it's designed to stop the hobby person using professional rodenticides. Now, yeah, can you get some rodenticides from the farm shop or from Mole Valley? Yes, at the moment you can, but at some point in the not too distant future, if you haven't got the right professional qualifications, you're not going to be able to use professional use rodenticides, and insecticides will be sure to follow too. This is a quote from a well-known philosopher. The whole thing about building a business, delivering great customer service, and making your mark in this industry, if you think you can, or if you think you can't do it, then you're probably right. I'll just leave that hanging out there for a second or two. When you start this business, you don't need an office. You don't need a great big lockup to keep hundreds of tons of rodenticide. You don't. You do need to keep your rodenticide safely stored, but a shed or a garage will suffice. You don't need to sit at home waiting for the phone to ring. That's definitely something that will slow you down if you're just expecting the phone to ring and you're waiting for the customers to come to you. Sure, some will come to you, but you really do need to get out there, market your business, work with us to market your business, and get your name known and out there. You need to be able to follow the guidance in the system, which is something I've just mentioned a second or two ago. You need to sit and do some planning, and then you need to follow that plan and deliver it with action. So you need to have a marketing plan. So today I'm going down the high street, I'm going to put a leaflet in all the restaurant doors. Great plan, and that's part of your business plan to start generating leads. Go and do it, and then go and do it a month later, and go and do it a month later again. We all know that you get leaflets through your door at home all the time. One leaflet, you might probably just see it, but you're probably going to stick it straight into the recycling bin. Second leaflet, you might take some interest in it and maybe even read it. Third time, you go, I've seen that leaflet before. And it might, if it's anything like our house, a useful leaflet normally pizza delivery and the like, will find its way onto the fridge, held on by a couple of fridge magnets, so I know where to go. So make your plan, and we'll teach you all about planning to market and deliver growth in your business during training. But then that's the easy bit. The difficult bit is making sure you go and do it. But we'll help you, we'll prod you, we'll mentor you, we'll coach you, and make sure that you're delivering on your business plan. You do need a van. We don't provide a van. I know some other franchises do provide vans or provide the opportunity to get a van. We don't. So you do need to have a van, and Gail can tell you what the guidelines are on vans if you speak to her. There's a lot to learn. Yeah, I've been sort of around this industry now for a couple of years. I had no previous experience of pest control. I still learn every time we do a training session. So I'm by no means an expert, but the large amount of knowledge and processes and just different ways of doing things is immense. So you need to be a sponge for learning. There is a very productive, very lengthy and extensive training program that we run excuse me, for new franchisees, and ongoing training also. So if and when you speak to Gail, she'll talk to you about that. But it's, if you're not comfortable sitting in a classroom for some of it, going out and doing practical training for other parts of it, and frankly being assessed and having to do an exam, then this isn't going to be the industry for you, I'm afraid. Business is tough, and you really need to have a plan, have an idea of what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. But the determination to follow that plan and see your business flourish and grow is a massively important thing. So if you've not got the drive and the determination to see something through, then doesn't matter what industry it is, being your own boss, being a business owner probably isn't going to be something that's going to work for you, because they're going to be great days, don't get me wrong, but they're going to be difficult days as well. And it's getting through those difficult days to the next great day that marks the difference between a good business owner and the rest. Obviously you want to succeed, and sometimes you'll have to work outside your comfort zone. We're not all comfortable with talking to people. We're not all comfortable in recommending other courses of action that might be more expensive than the client originally envisaged. You've got to value your time. You've got to attach a value to what you do and what you deliver. You're not just basing what you're doing on an hourly rate. You've been highly trained. You've got lots of things that you've got to pay for, insurance and all the like, which is part of your franchise fee. And so you've got to be comfortable in selling your business, selling your expertise, and really valuing the service that you are delivering to your customers. Here's Sean. He's been with us 12 months now, so we should probably update this. And he's our West London franchisee. Had to take on a technician within a couple of months of starting, as you can see there, and he's now having to register for VAT all within the first year of his franchise. He's certainly a good guy to talk to about how it can work. He's he's a realistic guy as well, so he won't just tell you the sort of champagne moments. He'll also give you some of the realism behind what goes on in the franchise. There's some quotes there for some of the guys. I'll just let you read them as I put them up. And that one from George at the end there really sort of strikes me as a massively important part of what we're doing here. Yeah, of course we all want to earn great money. We all want to do well and get the material things that that can bring. But if you're not enjoying it, then what's the point? And this is a job where I have yet. Well, there are grumpy Pestforce technicians, of course there are, but I'm yet to meet one that's not happy and not not happy being in this industry and enjoying the opportunities it brings. And you can do your own. You can have your own discussions with them and find out. But it is an industry where you really ought to be having fun. I'll come on to the training a bit, but there's a few quotes about what the guys have said about the training. And you don't, and as Jason said there, it doesn't matter if you don't have any pest control knowledge. In fact, sometimes it's better you've got no pest control knowledge, because then we're starting with a fresh piece of paper and no bad habits. But if you have, then great, so much the better. We'll mold that and make sure it's put to the right uses. This is what we're about, obviously, having a bit of fun and building a business. Can I do this part-time? Will you, Pestforce, get me all the work? Can you, Pestforce, guarantee me the turnover in my business? These are common questions that that we get asked, and in reality, no, definitely no. And for the third one, again, definitely no. You will perhaps speak to one or two of the guys who do it. I wouldn't say on a part-time basis, but it isn't their first job. We've got a few firemen in the business who get a whole host of time off, and so for them, actually, they can almost put in the same hours as a full-time person in as their second business, so it works for them. But if you really want to make a go of this, then doing it part-time will end up ultimately frustrating you, because you'll want to make a go of it. You won't necessarily get the work that you're expecting, or you can't deliver the work that you want, and then and you'll end up in a bit of a spiral. Oh, it's not really working. Oh, it's not a great opportunity. It's not really done what I expected it to do. Whereas if you're doing it full time and you have the sort of pointy stick in your back that says, "Oh, I've got to pay the mortgage next week. I've got to pay the clutch has gone on the van. I've got to pay that next week." Then having that as a driver behind you to make you really focus on building your business is a very important part of making sure you plan and deliver what you need to do to earn the money you need to earn. And that's exactly what is a partnership with shared success. You do well, I do well. So you can be sure that our drive to help you and support you to do well is definitely there. We've got shared goals. I want you to build as big a business as you possibly can whilst enjoying yourself. 2 reasons. Obviously, that benefits me financially. It goes without saying. But more importantly than that, it allows me to have a successful and happy set of franchisees who become a great advert for the business and the industry. So that's really where my shared success comes with you. So we do all we can to make you successful. You've got to work damn hard as well, of course, but we both benefit from the success that we bring together. And of course, some of you might be thinking, well, I'll just do this on my own. Dead easy, isn't it? Well, of course you can. Absolutely no difficulties with that whatsoever, because being in a franchise does come with certain responsibilities, comes with certain onuses on you to follow the systems, follow the processes, the legislations, the health and safety guidelines and policies. And if you don't feel you can do that, then perhaps starting on your own is a better option. We would be delighted if you joined us, but it's not for everybody. So do think long and hard before you set something up with Gail, that it is absolutely right for you before we take that next step. I talked about training a little bit. a minute or two ago, and you do get a great 3 weeks of initial training to get you going. Lots of theory, more practical, and some on-the-job training. So you will be out there pretty much in the first week working on practical jobs. So it's not just about being in a classroom. So if just being in a classroom frightens you, I promise you we do get you out of the classroom quite a lot, and we have outside partners who come and help us deliver some of the training. So we're always looking to make sure the training is world class, and some of the things that the guys have fed back to us about the training tells me that we're just about getting it right now. We're nailing training, so the guys are going out of here really knowing what they need to do, to both in a business sense and technically in terms of treating pests. But you never stop learning. There is a lot of ongoing training throughout the time that you're with us. You get we can help you to access some of the external training courses. We run some training courses, firearms, for example. Aluminium phosphide is another one that we run. Kill German, Edulux, two of our partners run courses, bird proofing, etc. So there's plenty of training to be had. We're also part of the industry continuous professional development program, Basis Prompt. So you do have to do a certain amount of training every year to maintain your Basis Prompt tick in the box, and that part of our British Pest Control Association membership is that trained and qualified technicians will get the points required every year to confirm that they are doing their continuing professional development. So I talked a little bit about that, and it's a little bit of we take some feedback from you guys a little bit. What do you want us to deliver in terms of training? Get stuck in with the training that we provide, but if there's something else that you want to do, maybe advanced mole trapping, or how do I set traps for magpies, the Larsen traps, and that kind of thing, get us to look into delivering that kind of course. We have a lot of experience in the network, as you can imagine, with 68 pest controllers around the UK, and we do get together at least twice a year. We had a meeting in Milton Keynes back in April, where we bring outside experts in to deliver additional training. We talk about the business, where we're going, what we're doing, and it's a great day. It was a great day back in April in Milton Keynes, and the next one is set for 1st of December, somewhere in Birmingham, which I can't remember where the location is. But all the pest controllers will be invited. Not all of them can attend, but there'll be about 40, I'm expecting, attend that day, and it'll be a great day. We do get a lot of help from our suppliers, particularly in product training, but also in sales support. So if you've got a bird proofing job that you wouldn't know where to start, if you've got a bird proofing job that's out of your comfort zone and need some help with, then one of our suppliers, in fact both of our suppliers, will send somebody to help you. They'll come, they'll assess the site, they'll take pictures, they'll help you put the quote together, they'll price all the equipment for you, which is a great help in the early days, especially when you're not 100% sure of what you're doing. And if it's not one of our suppliers, then Phil Shaw is certainly a great help in making sure that quotes go out of the door looking their very best and with the most realistic pricing. So we get a great opportunity to win the work. Oops, going the wrong way now. So in your initial 3 weeks, you'll meet the head office team. We'll talk about the vision and values and what we're about. You'll get some technical training, insect training, rodent training, and health and safety, etc. Excuse me just a sec. I'm just going to mute the microphone for 1 second. I need to blow my nose. I'm very sorry. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. So that's the technical training, initial technical training. We get a lot of extra technical training from our suppliers, which takes another 5 days. A lot of focus on health and safety. I can make no apologies for that. There's a whole day of health and safety, but as I'm sure you can appreciate, it's massively important. There is a good couple of days of sales and marketing, and we'll go through business planning. We'll go through how to get appointments, how to win work, how to price work. There's some role play. So going back to the bit I was talking about, being out of your comfort zone, I'll tell you this ahead of time so you're not surprised. We will be recording your inbound calls for the first 3 months of your time with us, because what we do then is we listen to them and we use them as a debriefing aid. We've just set up a sales masterclass once a month here in Henley, so any of the guys can come in, have some work with the sales team here on how to better win work. Maybe we'll do some role play. We'll talk about what's working, what's not working, and give them some ideas to improve their hit rate. So that's a new innovation we've just brought in following a meeting we had last week, and something I think the guys will really appreciate. Obviously, we're going to have to teach you about our systems and the management, and you will go out with either a current franchisee or we have an in-house technician. So if you're in the London or Southeast area, you'll end up getting out with him and having a good time wandering around London, doing some work and seeing how he works and following our systems and processes. There is a huge amount of central support. That's just a small list of what happens, and you will get your level 2 qualification typically about 9 months after you join us. There is obviously a lot to learn, and whilst I know some organisations do it very early, so Rentokil, for example, typically can do it within the first couple of months of their technicians joining them. We think that's the wrong approach. We've talked to the BPCA and to our training suppliers. They also think that's the wrong approach. So we've gone for this period of around about 9 months where you've got plenty of experience. You've had lots of time to build some knowledge post your initial training and to log that knowledge in a logbook of what you've been up to, so we can present evidence to the RSPH that of what you've done in your time before you come and do the exam, so they can see the experience level you've got before you take the qualification. And that does make a difference to we believe to the pass rates and to the success of the technical knowledge of our franchisees. The list just keeps going. The email's quite important. It sounds like a small thing, but that was one of the first things that we did for the franchisees was to hear that they get about 735, I made that number up, but it was a big number, emails every day, 95% of which are spam. And trying to find the 1 or 2 real important emails in amongst all that spam was proving very difficult. So our email system's got a very robust spam filter on it. So hopefully and I have got some feedback from the guys that this is the case. You know, they are now seeing only emails that are relevant and important, rather than being able to buy Russian brides or little blue pills or get a rebate from some fictional company's house server. So as you can see, we work very hard in helping you to make sure that your business grows. What's not on there, and I will have somebody hung, drawn, and quartered, flogged to within an inch of their life. It's me actually that put this slide together. Website. There is a massive amount of effort and work goes into our website. If you get a chance to have a look at it, pest-force.co.uk. It isn't the prettiest website in the world, but it is damned effective. It's got a lot of a lot of credibility with the major search engines, and a significant number of our technicians' websites are on the first page of Google. And obviously that's the place that you want to be, because if you want to bury the dead bodies, you put it on page 2 of Google. So we're constantly working to help technicians refresh content, put testimonials on their website, and generally improve their ability to stay in the top 10 of Google rankings. That, added to Google AdWords, gives them the best chance of picking up the short notice one-off reactive job work. We've got systems. Just we give you a Galaxy tab as part of your induction program, and you'll be using that to keep track of your business, keep track of your appointments, send out your essential documentation to your clients, and to keep a track of who's paid and who hasn't. Always an important part of what goes on in any small business. The cash, massively important. Cash is absolutely king in a small business, so keeping a track of it is a very high priority. You don't have to be Bill Gates to be able to operate our systems. They're fairly intuitive, and we're working on them all the time to make sure they continue to support what you do rather than be a hindrance to what you do. And we get technicians in to help us with that. So if that's your kind of thing, then we'll be delighted to have you along to help us develop the systems. Here's the bad news. There is an investment required in the business, and it's 16,500 plus VAT. £1,500 of that goes to the first 3 months of running your Google AdWords. We pay for the first 3 months, trying to get your business off to a great start. You pick the tab up from beyond that, but that's our commitment to you. It is a 5-year franchise agreement. Don't underestimate the fact that it is a legal contractual agreement. Doesn't mean that you're stuck with us forever, because things happen. There are ways to terminate the franchise, but it is, if everything goes well, it is renewable at the end of that 5-year period. And the good news is we don't charge another franchise fee to renew. So once you're in and doing well, if it's gone well for you and it's gone well for us, then you will be able to renew at the end of your first franchise agreement. You do get a defined territory, so there is only one Pestforce franchisee per area, which is massively important. And we will work with you. We don't sit here and say you are to develop your business to X, Y, or Z turnover. We work with you to work out what's realistic, what's your growth plan. So if you come in and say, I need to earn £40,000 a year, Paul, and I say, okay, that's great. What are you going to spend on marketing? £1.50 a week. Obviously isn't going to happen. So we have to have a realistic and credible business plan to make sure that you can achieve what you want to achieve out of the business, because otherwise it's not going to work for either of us. So you'll be pleased to know I'm just about to wrap up, and I will have kept my promise of keeping it to an hour. Pest control ain't going away anytime soon. In fact, the industry is growing, spend in the industry is growing, and that will continue to be the case for the foreseeable future. This is an operational franchise, so you are going to be the business owner and the service deliverer. So if that's not your bag, if you want a management franchise, there are probably other franchises out there that would suit you better. Ask me about EcoClean if you like, but that's not what I'm here to talk about tonight. This business needs to be started off as you delivering the service as the business owner. It could in time, and Sean's example, as I pointed out to you earlier on, is that he started just himself. 3 or 4 months in, he's got another technician, looking at buying another area, bring another technician, possibly 2 in. So he will develop more of a management approach to his business as time goes on. Doesn't happen overnight. He's been very fortunate in that his area has grown very quickly. I say fortunate, he's worked bloody hard at it. So he's got the rewards of working hard. And so there is an opportunity to grow it into a bigger management franchise. To be successful, you need to have a good mix of recurring monthly revenue and job work. Not only does that mean you earn more while you're in the business, but you're then also setting up an asset. So if you do want to sell in future, you've got something that's very saleable, and there is provision within the franchise agreement for you to be able to sell your business at a suitable point. It is a people business. If, as I said earlier on, if you're not keen on people, if you don't want to talk to people, if you can't handle the odd difficult discussion with a customer, then it probably isn't the business that's going to work best for you. But we'll guide you through all that, how to deal with customer stuff during your training. So don't think that it's not something that can't be trained. We're looking at the brilliant basics. 3 weeks, we can't teach you everything, but we can give you certainly more than enough to get out there, get active, get working, and get earning some money. We're about the brilliant basics in training, and then we're going to give you more as time goes on. And we're here to support and guide you. Gail and her team do nothing else but manage the support and growth of franchisees. That's why they're here. So you must lean upon them during your time, and upon Phil, the technical guy. But you're not buying a job. This is about building a business. So please bear that firmly in mind when you're thinking about this later on. Are you right for the business? Ask yourself those questions that I've been asking you over the last 58.5 minutes. People, comfort, sales, marketing. Are you going to be able to do all those? Do you have the determination and the drive to build the business to deliver what you need to make it work? There's a question to ask yourself, which the British Franchise Association website also asks. It isn't just about the money. Of course, we all want to be successful. We all want to earn lots of money and spend it on whatever we want, whether it's an expensive rifle or an expensive fishing get-up, or for others it might be the latest golf clubs or whatever it happens to be. You've got to enjoy it though, because all the money in the world won't replace enjoying what you do. You've got to get up out of bed every morning, think, I'm really looking forward to my day ahead. You've got to work for your family as well. Typically, the pest control day starts reasonably early, sort of 7 in the morning, can finish around 4 in the afternoon. But certainly in the summer, you'll be working through, it's light out here now, till about 9:30, 10 o'clock. So quite often you'll be working late if people get home and need wasp nest sorting out. So make sure that will fit in with every other part of your life. Ask the right questions. Look at that BFA website. Ask Gail the right questions about joining, the questions that you want answered before you know whether it's right for you or not. But at the end of the day, if it is something you're interested in, you'll never know if it's right for you or not, really, until you do it. We can answer all your questions, we can give you all the guidance, but only you can really make the decision about whether it's right for you or not. I can see there are a few questions, so I don't really want to keep you any longer now. So I'll get those answered by email, probably through Gail. If we don't answer your question, or we've put more questions into your mind and you want to get them answered, there's Gail's email address. I'm hoping that we've got the phone number on the next page. No, we haven't, but I'll make sure you get that phone number in just a second. So if you do want to progress further, do come to the office, do come and meet us. I'll give you Gail's phone number in a sec, so you can give her a call and book. We've got 3 more slots. We've got a training session starting in 8 weeks' time. So if this has piqued your interest, we need to get started so that we've got you booked in for that training. And if you do, Gail says I'm mad, but I'm going to do this anyway. If you do express your interest within the next 2 weeks and end up on that training, then rather than just the £1,500 worth of Google advertising, then I'll add another 500 quid and make it a total of 2,000 that we use to get your business off to a flying start. If it's not for you, and it may not be, just let us know so we don't continue to bombard you with more emails. My beautiful assistant has just handed me a pad with her telephone number on, so I will say this twice: 0330 122 2962. That's Gail's direct dial telephone number: 0330 122 2962. So please do give her a call and ask her any questions you've got. Harder the questions, the better from my point of view. We've got 2 quick polls for you to answer now. It won't take you a second or two. First one I'd like to know is, did you find the webinar informative? There we go. I've managed to work the technology. So if you can click on that, it'd be grand. Excellent. Thank you very much. And then I've got another one, if I can work the technology again, which is, are you likely to, as a result of this poll, are you likely to book a discovery day with us? Won't hold you to it, don't worry, just interesting to see what comes as a result of tuning into the webinar. Brilliant, thanks very much. I can see everybody's answered both of those poll questions. That's smashing. I will just sign off by thanking you all for taking the time to listen. As I said at the beginning, I'm not selling it to you. It's an opportunity that you need to understand and get more information about. If it's right for you, great, and then we'll hopefully see you in the next few weeks. If it's not, that's also fine, and I wish you all the very best in whatever you choose to do. My name's Paul Smith, and I'm signing off now. Thanks very much for listening.